Startup all-electric automaker Rivian and the Mercedes-Benz vans division have announced a new joint venture to build two new large electric commercial vans for the European market, with an efficient manufacturing setup using shared assembly lines in an all-new EV-dedicated factory. Considering each company's new van will be built on separate platforms, with the stated goal of simplifying manufacturing for both parties, it makes the deal seem more like the two companies will be cozy roommates in their new European facility with as much shared overhead as possible. The deal hasn't been finalized just yet, as the shared release states there's still some regulatory this and that and the final paperwork to be signed, but they must be confident it's a sure thing if they're already making announcements. You've got to impress the shareholders. The new van production is set to begin in a few years in an all-new electric-only production facility that's located on a site already operated by Mercedes-Benz in Central/Eastern Europe. This would have been a great time for them to announce the factory would have a carbon-neutral footprint, or to clearly outline ethical resource acquisition for the raw materials that go into these new EVs, but there was no such detail at this time. Rivian's large EV van will be based on its second-generation Rivian Light Van, RLV, platform, the first generation of which, pictured below, was sold in Rivian's big deal with Amazon for delivery vehicles in the US, and Mercedes-Benz will assemble its large EV van on its van electric architecture, Van E. You can see our future cars rendering of a Rivian camper van for some idea of what a straightforward R1S style van could look like above. No word yet on planned capacity or output, but both companies plan to rapidly scale production of electric vans to help the world transition to cleaner transportation, so we'll probably know more soon. The companies stated a clear focus of the partnership is to keep costs down, which should translate to a more affordable asking price for the customer, but no pricing specifics were announced. The recent U.S. Inflation Reduction Act, which outlined new rules for federal EV rebates including strict stateside materials sourcing requirements, would render any EV van either company builds in Europe ineligible for any government incentives if it was shipped over and sold in the US, so it doesn't seem likely we'll get either of these new vans. It doesn't seem unreasonable that Rivian and Mercedes-Benz could find a way to produce EV vans on the same platforms in US manufacturing sites, so we may end up getting some sort of variants in a roundabout way one day regardless. Mercedes recently announced a $500 million addition to its Sprinter van plant located in South Carolina, and more US production expansion for both companies is already announced. But first, European domination with big vans and new friends.